my name is Jessica Berry, and I'm the author of Freefall. Freefall opens with a small plane crashing in the Colorado Rockies. There are two people on board, a man who dies and a woman who survives. We see the woman, Allison, gather what she can from the wreckage and take off through the mountains, though we're not sure if she's running toward safety or away from danger. Across the country, in a small town in Maine, her mother gets a knock on the door from the local police chief who she's known all of her life. He tells her the bad news that her daughter has been killed in a plane crash. But there's no body, and Maggie starts to wonder if her daughter really is dead. The trouble is, she hasn't spoken to her daughter in over 2 years, so she has no idea what kind of life she was leading at this point, or what she was doing on that plane in the first place. The idea from the novel first came to me when I read a news article about a teenage girl who was, I think, 14, who was in a similar plane crash. And her grandparents were flying the plane, and they sadly died in the crash, but she survived and was basically unscathed. And she then walked for 2 days and 2 nights through the wilderness in Washington state until she hit a road and flagged a car down that brought her to safety. And it's really got me thinking about the will to survive. Like, what does it take to survive something that is not only physically traumatic, but also emotionally incredibly traumatic? Like, how do you find the strength to keep going in that situation and make sure that you live? So that was the kind of original idea for it. And when I started writing it, I realized that I was being pulled towards the mother-daughter relationship between Allison and Maggie. And I've always been really interested in the way that mother-daughter relationships develop as we get older. I think that when we're kids, we think that we know everything about our mothers, and they know kind of everything about us. And then as we get older, there's this sort of unlearning and relearning of that relationship that has to happen. And so I was really interested in seeing how far that relationship could stretch without it breaking. Finally, I was really keen to write a book in which the women were the heroes of the story. There are so many stories, particularly at the minute, about women being victims, and those are such important stories, but I really wanted to write something in which women were almost their own action heroes and were saving themselves rather than waiting for somebody to save them.